We got it. Welcome to Monday Mindset.
Welcome. Welcome to Monday Mindset. Today we're going to go over 7 ways to train your brain to be more productive and efficient. And I guarantee you that even though some of these are simple, it will blow your mind.
Woohoo!
Woohoo!
I want my mind blown.
You want your mind blown. So have any of you ever had a day like this? You go back and forth through the kitchen 25 times and you've only been up for an hour?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, looking for something, and we're all looking to get more steps on our counter, usually on our fitness app. But what would happen if somebody followed you around all day and made a map of everywhere you were walking and looking for things? So the map would probably look like hundreds of steps, but it would be endless and somewhat confused circles. Anybody register that that's probably the way you operate?
Mike actually does this on his Apple Watch.
Yeah.
He maps where he swims, for example.
Yes, exactly. What if you mapped how your morning went? You're walking for coffee, you get distracted while you're walking for coffee,
Yeah.
you stop and put some laundry in, or if you're at the office, you stop and talk to somebody else, and then you forgot what you were out there for. So if movements are any indication, it would seem that you're not really doing things in an efficient and direct manner. And the reason is perfectly self-evident. You probably forgot literally halfway through what you were doing, what you were going to be doing. And this comes from multitasking. You can't remember if you turned the coffee pot on. You can't remember where you left your cell phone, even though it's in your pocket. We've all had times like this. And even though it can frustrate you to no end, it's a condition that you can cure or at least counter-react. And part of the cure comes from taking control over your own mindset. So multitasking, I don't have to tell you guys this, I'm preaching to the choir, but multitasking is one of the most detrimental factors working against us in our performance and expanding our business. So it's kind of a challenge that we take on every day. A lot of it's about our memory and how much we can hold in our brain. We switch tasks all the time in real estate. We are bombarded with things. There's different studies that have shown this all the time. So I'm going to give you 7 ways to help you so that you're not walking around like an aimless squirrel during your personal time and your business time.
Thank you.
Here's what?
I said thank you.
You're welcome. So here's how life can go sometime in real estate. You tell yourself you need to prospect. You told your coach you're going to prospect. You're going to start at 9 a.m. and then at 9:05 you remember you need milk at home and you stop and start your grocery list. So of course this happens all the time. One of the things you can do is give yourself an internal warning. Just like you would set a timer on your phone or tell someone that they need to hold you accountable to this, you can actually set an internal warning for yourself and give yourself sufficient warning to get back, when you know you need to finish something that interrupts you. So say to your brain, please warn me if I start to task switch at 9 a.m. so I can get back on track. So you can train your brain to be your warning system. You can set up your own internal warning. And I think a lot of us have that happen, like we feel a little guilty when we're not doing what we know we're supposed to be doing. That warning goes off, but we don't listen to it. So we all set that warning up, but we don't always listen to it. So when you can just even say to yourself, I'm going to set an internal warning for 9 a.m. on Monday morning. And I want my unconscious mind, because so much of what happens occurs in the unconscious. You can direct your unconscious mind to be your own assistant. So on the surface level of our brains, we're like, la, 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 let's do this, let's do that. On the subconscious level, you can ask your subconscious to be your partner in this simply by saying, please, give me an internal warning at 9 a.m. So I'd love to hear from somebody that tries this. And then number 2 is look at what you're doing. When you stop and look at what you're doing when you put something away, it registers in your unconscious mind. So whether you're putting it in a drawer or in your car or in your briefcase, when you're forgetting where you put something, it's because you're over multitasking, task switching. But when you can register the item by taking a mental photo of it, you can return to that image and find out where you put it. Anybody got a method for finding lost things, a mental method?
This comes from being Catholic. I pray to St. Anthony, and I sit and I think. And then, yes, I do mental pictures. And so Donna will know one of the things I hate to do is to lose something, my car keys or my wallet, and I act irrational. And so I'm pretty clear as to taking a mental picture of where I leave things. And I also get into the habit of leaving them in the same place.
Well, purposely taking a mental picture really helps.
Oh, yeah.
I usually go back with the last time that I saw it, and then what did I do next, and what did I do next. So when Mike gets upset about losing something, I'll say, where did you have it last, right? And then where did you go next? So I play, rather than a picture, I play the where was I, and what was I doing, and what did I do next. So
you're running the movie backwards, basically.
I'm running. Well, I go find that point in the movie and then start running it forward again. Ah, right?
Great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
Great analogy. Thank you.
One of the things they taught us in NLP is if we really want to remember someone, connect a name to a face, remember how to spell something, remember a phrase, to just broadcast it on the ceiling as if it's in lights and then take a mental picture. So we know that you've got to have your phone all the time. And that's one of the main things I think that we spend a lot of time looking for. I have this thing on my iPad and my computer, Find My iPhone. I use it way more than I should because we have it with us all the time, and yet we lay it down. So take a mental photo of those things, and that will help. Number 3, do the same routine in the same order. Process your sales in the same order. Prepare for a listing presentation in the same order. Organize your files in the same order. Start your day in the same order. I am a famous randomizer because I like a lot of variety in my life. So I'm a person, an agent that was constantly trying to switch up systems and probably still do that. But when you're running a restaurant, for instance, you do the same thing the same way in the same order, and you become much more efficient. And when those tasks are automatic, you don't have to check and recheck every step of the way. So
that's what franchises do.
That is what franchises do. So I invite you to look at what you do in your life and what you can accomplish if you do more things in the same order. I think we all have systems for getting ready for a listing appointment, or we all have systems for doing a CMA, and we know what those steps are without even realizing it. A lot of us are automatic, what do they call it, automatic competence, because we've done it so many times. We know the steps to do in the same order. And yet there's a lot of things that we don't do in the same order, and that could be your morning schedule. Anybody have comments on that? When I was helping open the ice cream store in Rwanda, I remember the woman that was teaching the part of the process. She just said over and over again, we do the same thing in the same way every day. And so I always hear that voice in my head. Number 4, look behind you before you get up to leave. This tip is especially true in public places. Anybody ever left your coat at someone's house? Or your notes on somebody's table?
Or your debit card in the restaurant little folder with the bill?
Yeah, or your debit
Yeah.
card in the restaurant. Yeah, yeah. So if you just have the mental discipline to look around before you get up and leave a place, and it could be before you look around and leave your office. One quick look around will provide you with a built-in guarantee against tracing your steps or spending the mental energy wondering where you left something. I mean, it takes a lot of mental energy to wonder where you left something. Number 5, talk to yourself. If you're Mike, you say, Mike, don't forget to put the sign in the trunk.
Yep.
When you talk to yourself, you can lock information in your memory.
It's
Yeah.
so funny, Donna Fleetwood, because as I'm driving around, I'll, hey, Siri, send myself an email with a response of what I'm supposed to do. And invariably, I remember to do it without ever seeing that email.
Yeah, yeah. That's right. Because when you verbalize it, you're embedding it in your own unconscious mind. And if you want to really remember it, say it in a funny voice to yourself. Now, your staff and your family may think that you're really strange, but talking to yourself actually has advantages. So don't be afraid to just self-talk yourself. Yeah.
You can always wear an earbud and people will think you're talking to somebody on the phone.
Right. Until you say, hey, Terry, remember that you have a lunch date.
And didn't you say that funny voice also can change your emotional energy around whatever it is, too? You use that. I use my Yogi Bear voice all the time.
Yeah, you have a good Yogi Bear voice. You want to give us an example of saying,
hey, Mike, don't forget to pick up the bread on the way home today, and then I'll remember.
Yeah.
I need to make it for the picnic basket.
Uh-huh.
But you do a great Donald Duck voice, so let's hear that one.
Quack, quack, quack. Donna, don't forget to put the sign in the trunk.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I love, if this is your first call ever, we're not always this crazy, but it works. Trust us.
It does. Number 6, practice being a golden retriever. So you had your favorite pen with you a few days ago, but you can't remember where it ended up. Donna just talked about a mental retrieval strategy where you force yourself to recall everything you did the last time you had the pen. And Donna made a great point. It's not just playing the movie backwards. It's picking a point in the movie and then running the movie forward and saying, okay, what did you do after that? What was your next step after that? 7, don't worry about what you forgot. A lot of energy is spent. I'll forget something and I'll go, what is wrong with me? Am I getting dementia? Why can't I remember that client's name? Concern about poor memory can be its own distraction and take up a lot of mental focus, which further detracts from your ability to be clear in your daily tasks with a sense of purpose. In 2011, Americans took in 5 times as much information every day as they did in 1986, the equivalent of 174 newspapers. That was in 2011, so you can imagine how much higher that number is now. Anybody who's been in the business a long time, and several of us on the phone have been, know that we have to remember and take in a magnitude of information and detail that is just so far beyond what we had to 10 years ago or 20 years ago. And the things that we have to remember splinter our attention. So there's a lot competing for our attention. And these small things and these small mental habits that we can develop are really going to help with that. The brain can only focus on so many things at one time. So bonus thought, every status update you read on Facebook, every tweet or text message you get from a friend is competing for resources in your brain with important things like whether to put your savings in stocks or bonds, where you left your passport, or how best to reconcile with a close friend you just had an argument with. Isn't that the truth?
It is.
It is.
So
Yes.
Go ahead, Donna, please.
Oh, I was going to say a Facebook fast is good, where you go for a week without going on Facebook. I've done that, and I've had coaching clients do that. Go ahead, Mike.
I was going to say it might be a fun exercise is what are ways you can limit the input. And so I'm so tired of all the people that are posting political posts, especially ones I don't agree with. I'm unfollowing them on Facebook.
Right.
Because I found myself compelled to respond to the lunacy that's out there, and I was spending way too much time. So yesterday, while at an open house, I must have unfollowed like 50 people, and that will save me hours of time. And I haven't watched the news in years. I don't know who still watches network news at all. Anybody
Well, I
on
do,
this call?
because that's the only. That's the only news I really get.
Yeah.
So.
No, but I mean, I found myself, I was getting upset to the point where I feel like 60 Minutes is news, and I don't even like to watch it, and Donna loves to watch 60 Minutes. And so I limit what goes into my brain. It's a huge thought. How else do you guys limit what goes into your brain, Terry and Donna and Stephanie and everybody else?
I think politics is a big distraction, and I think just staying off Facebook is probably easier than unfollowing a bunch of people. But
yeah.
Who else?
What else do you do to keep things clear? I find meditating quietly also helps me focus on what's important. I plan, when I work out in the morning, the only thing I'll look at is I don't look at any emails before I work out, but I will look at my calendar. And, yesterday I discovered I had made a big boo-boo with one of our clients, and it was a real boo-boo, not an end of the world boo-boo, but a boo-boo that in a listing that isn't selling might cause them to cancel the listing. And, I had apologized yesterday. I told the truth. I took responsibility. And then this morning, as I was working out, I composed an email that I sent as soon as I got into the office, and all is not well, but he's not canceling the listing, and he understands. So it's that focus that you're talking about is so important. Whereas if I had just not gotten up, not worked out, and then came in,
right,
he might not have gotten the attention that he needed, so that he knew that he was important to me, and that I had made a mistake, and I felt bad about it. It's a huge concept there. I don't know how else to convey it. I probably haven't been very clear, but maybe Donna can, because I called her yesterday and said, "Oh God, I messed up."
Well, you handled it quickly.
Yes.
Rather than letting it sit in your brain like a big lead balloon.
Oh yeah, big pimple that hurts.
And Donna, if you want to go back to the one right before the bonus thought, isn't that what we're talking about? Don't worry.
Yes.
Right. Sometimes it's not the thing we messed up on or the thing we forgot. It's the beating ourselves up after it. And we've got to be able to move on quickly. It's just really, really important.
Especially when we make a mistake with clients, and we all make mistakes.
Yeah.
But I have coached a number of agents who go into what's wrong with me. I'm going to get sued, blah, blah, blah. And that worry keeps, that's a huge distraction.
Right. And so, acknowledging it, taking responsibility, and then making amends is, that's what you can do. And at that point, you've got to forgive yourself and move forward, right?
Yeah.
And do those things quickly and go to the next thing.
Yes.
So,
yes, not ruminate in it.
Yes.
Yeah. And they say if you can't find something to just stop, go look for it so that you're not thinking about it all day.
Right.
Because that takes a lot of weight up in the brain.
Or stop and sit and think, run through that. Where was the last time I had it? Did I take a mental picture?
Rose Pagonis has this system for finding things, and it's the silliest thing, but every time I do it, it works. What you do is you spin around and you say, Holy Tony, turn around, what is lost must be found.
Yeah, that comes the prayers to St. Anthony.
It is.
And usually within 15 minutes to half an hour, I found it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Donna.
Yes.
One thing I'd just like to add, I never use the L word. I've never lost anything in my life. I misplace it
Ah,
because that tells my brain that it will be found.
yes.
Good
If
attitude.
it's lost, it's gone. If you've misplaced
Right.
it, you can find the place it's in.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you, Ben.
Another example of how important words are.
Yes.
Yeah. When we talk to ourselves, we have to use good language too. Yeah.
Excellent.
Excellent. Yeah. Yeah. Brain tips and tricks. There's nothing that slows us down in this business other than what's between our ears. That gray matter is what slows us down. And we can all give examples of agents that we know or agents that we've coached that don't really realize that they're in this space of being so distracted. Some people are really good at multitasking. But for the most part, at some point in time, anybody is going to lose their focus if they're trying to do too many things at once or have too many details on their mind. So hire an assistant also.
Being efficient, this topic of being efficient is very important, and particularly over the remainder of this year. I mean, we think about how many days, we started this talk, I think, before we turned the recording on, how many days there are left in the year. And being extremely efficient during this last, 5, 6, 7 weeks that you're going to work is huge. So I hope that you'll take these 7 points and use them to be more efficient.
There's one other thought. Seth Godin often talks about how do you talk to your boss? And what if you were an employee or you had an employee and they did the things you do to be inefficient? Meaning they got on Facebook, they did this, they did that. What would you tell that employee to do?
Yeah.
And ultimately, your own worst boss is yourself, because we get to tell ourselves what to do pretty much all of the time. And we allow ourselves to do things that we wouldn't allow anybody we were paying money to do.
So true.
Ouch.
Real quick for everybody on the call, what's your favorite time management tool? Mine is the Pomodoro to set a timer for 21 minutes and focus on one thing. Donna Stott, what's yours?
Be extremely scheduled. Anything I want to do goes in the calendar.
Great. Ben Slater, what's yours?
I think that having the system and doing the same things the same way every time is
I'm just going to point out, Ben has been emailing me his schedule every day and his to-dos for the day, almost every single day. For how long now, Ben?
a lot of years. I probably still only average 80%, but
2 to 3 years, maybe 4 years, Ben has been emailing me every morning. I get an email, or sometimes midday, an email from Ben saying, this is my schedule and these are my to-dos. And of course, he's not doing it for me. He's doing it for him, right?
yeah.
And it's a brilliant strategy for time management. Brilliant.
That's incredible. That's fantastic. Yeah. Good commitment.
What has that done for you, Ben?
What about you?
I have a schedule, and when I'm going to be working for an hour or 55 minutes, I write down at the beginning of that time what I'm supposed to be doing.
Oh,
Time. Kind of that works for me.
a form of talking to yourself and, yeah,
Right.
instructing yourself. Mike Stott?
It's the Formula One. You're spending the first thing doing the 55 minutes of what I'm supposed to do. I'm able to do it without distractions.
Mm-hmm. And who else do we have on the call?
Dwayne,
Dwayne?
you'll need to come off mute. Coach Stephanie, you need to come off mute, or I can unmute you. I'll unmute both of you guys.
For me, I have to check my calendar first thing in the morning to make sure that I've remembered everything that I'm supposed to be doing that day. My calendar really runs my day.
Okay.
For some reason, I can't unmute Dwayne. You may have to do it yourself. Sorry, we got a lot of background noise somewhere.
That's okay. All right. Well, he may be somewhere he can't talk, but
Okay.
yeah. So those are great tips. And so let's.
Kayla didn't answer. What's your favorite time management tip, Kayla?
Make a list and follow my list, and it keeps me on track.
Great.
I love how at the top of the list it says dust the phones.
They needed it. They're no longer dusty.
Yeah. Well, so thank you, everybody. Let's get control of our gray matter and take mental pictures, and just be very aware of when we are doing things like walking through our kitchen 25 times or up and down our steps or around our office without clear direction.
Thank you so much, Donna Fleetwood. This was a great call. I'm going to give a little plug since we have another minute left. Is next Monday, I'm going to be going through the market cycle clock. You remember us doing the clock? Where are we in the real estate cycle? And I think this is an important conversation for you to be having with your buyers and your sellers these days. So we're going to revamp the clock this week, and we'll present that on Monday, and it will be something that you can use with your buyers and sellers right through the next cycle. So be sure to be here next Monday for that.
Okay.
And thank you, Donna Fleetwood, for that suggestion, because that was hers.
Yeah, it's very timely right now. We're in a different time of market. So
also watch for your business planning forms that will be going out this month as well. We're at that time.
Have a
Thank
great
you.
rest of your day.